Okay, so for today, I'm going to be working questions 15 through 18, which is the volume of pyramids and cones. Okay, pyramids and cones. I'm going to be able to find the volume of this. But let's see, yesterday, let me remind us of what we were talking on our previous one. We find out that the volume of a prism or of a cylinder was the area of the base times the height, right? We talked about that last time. Area of a prism or cylinder is the area of the base times the height. And we said the base was a shape, rectangular shape, a triangular shape, a circular shape for cylinders. Now, based on these figures, I'm going to be able to find the volume of a pyramid or cone, okay? So based on this, based on the volume of a prism or a cylinder, I'm going to be able to find the volume of a pyramid or cone. Okay, what I'm going to be doing, since I know the volume is the space on the inside, I'm going to do a little experiment. What I'm going to do is I'm going to graph a cone. You guys see my shape here. I'm going to have a cone. I'm going to fill it with water, and I'm going to see how many cones does it take to fill up a prism. On my experiment, I want to do a prism and a cone that have the same height and the same base. So either the base is triangular on both and the exact same base, and the height happens to be the same. I'm also going to do it with the cylinder. The cylinder has the same circle as the base as the cone, and they both have the same height. Interesting that from all of them, it happens the same. If you fill up a cone to see how many cones does it take to fill a prism, a cone, how many cones does it take to fill up a cylinder, or you have a pyramid to see how many pyramids does it take to fill up a prism, you're gonna find out. Here I have a shape here. In my figure here, I use a cone to fill up a cylinder. Now it's gonna take me 3 cones to fill up a cylinder. Now notice how here I have these little spaces. It took me 3 cones to fill up a cylinder. If I use pyramids, it's going to take me 3 pyramids to fill up a prism. Okay, so I know the area of a cylinder, or the volume of a cylinder, or the volume of a prism is area of the base times height. But I know it takes 3 cones to fill up a cylinder. So since the cylinder is area of the base times height, I'm going to say the cone is going to be area of the base times height divided by 3. Okay, let me say this again. Since the cylinder, there's 3 cones in a cylinder, and I know the volume of a cylinder is area of the base times height, I'm going to say 1 cone is area of the base times height divided by 3, because there are 3 cones. And for pyramids, it's going to be the same thing. Area of the base times height divided by 3, because it takes 3 pyramids for 1 prism. So I'm going to use this formula. Pyramids, the volume of pyramids and cones is going to be the area of the base times height divided by 3. If you guys don't believe me, try this at home. Try it out. You guys don't have prisms, cones, cylinders. Come over to our office and I'll show you. Now, let's take a look at our work here. Number 15, the volume of a pyramid. I remember, I just showed you, I said right now, the volume of a pyramid is going to be the area of the base times the height divided by 3. So the base, in this case, it's a rectangle. Right, you guys can see it's a 4 by 5 rectangle. So the base is going to be 4 times 5. The height, we can see, is 9. And I'm going to divide this by 3. So I'm going to type it on a calculator. I'm going to use a fraction. On the top, I'm going to put inside parentheses 4 times 5. Now, some of you might say, can I just type in 20 times 9 on the top of the fraction and all this divided by 3? Because I know 4 times 5 is 20. Then go for it. Now 20 times 9 divided by 3 will give me 60. The volume of this pyramid is 60 miles to the third power, or 60 cube miles. Now, having that said, let's take a look at number 16. The volume of a cone is the area of the base times the height divided by 3. So I'm going to type it in as a fraction. You guys, I gave you guys a link for a calculator on Canvas that you guys can type in as a fraction. Now for the base is a circle. Right, you guys can see the base is a circle. The radius is 12. And now remember, the area of a circle is radius squared times pi. Radius squared basically means radius multiplied twice. And then for pi, we're going to use 3.14. So I'm going to say the area of the base, the area of this circle is going to be 12 times 12 times 3.14. Right? Radius squared times pi. That's the area of the circle. The height I can see is 24. Right? You guys can see the height of the pyramid. The height of the cone is 24. And all of this is divided by 3. Okay? The rest is just basically typing it in. So use a calculator if you need to. And I'm going to get 3,617.28. Now I know I have to round it to one decimal place. My second decimal place is big enough. So I'm going to round this to 3,617.3. Okay, let's take a look at number 17. I have another cone. Now remember, the volume of a cone is going to be the area of the base times the height divided by 3. The circle, which is the base, my radius, I'm going to say in this case is 9. Now be careful. Number 16, I gave you the radius. But look at number 17, I gave you the diameter. Because this 18 crosses the whole circle, but I only need it halfway. The half of 18 is 9. So you got to be careful whether I give you the radius or I give you the diameter. Okay, so since the radius is 9, I'm going to say the area of the circle is 9 times 9 times 3.14. Right, radius squared times pi. The height, if I was to stand this cone, the height is 18, and I always divide this by 3. Remember, I divided by 3 because it takes 3 cones to fill up a cylinder. Okay, now multiply all this together. I'm going to get 1,526.04. The second decimal number is too small, so I'm going to ignore it. So my answer will be 1,526.0. Now the 0.0 is optional. If you guys just write 1,526, you're good. If you write it 1,526.0, you're also good. Lastly, let's take a look at number 18. The volume is going to be the area of the base times the height divided by 3. The base I can see is a triangle. See here at the bottom. My two numbers that make the 90 degrees are 6 and 8. So I remember the area of a triangle. First, I have to go 6 times 8 divided by 2. Right, because 6 times 8 gives me a rectangle, but I divide it by 2 because a triangle is half of a rectangle. The height we can see is 7. And then I divide this by 3. So that's going to give me, right, 6 times 8 divided by 2 times 7, and all this divided by 3. Type in parentheses if you need to. Type it in as a fraction. I'm going to get, for this case, my answer is 56. Nice. Volume of pyramids and cones is area of the base times height divided by 3.